Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission, as always, is to take a complex stack of source material, strip away all the noise, and really just deliver the concentrated knowledge you need.
And today, we are immersing ourselves in one of the most celebrated and I'd say persistent approaches to performance out there.
That's right. We're talking about a Meisner approach to actor training.
It's an approach that people often describe as deceptively simple, but also profoundly effective. We're diving into sources straight from the Meisner Institute itself.
Right, to kind of peel back the layers and understand why this methodology provides such a rock-solid foundation.
A foundation that can elevate anyone, really, whether you're a complete beginner or, a seasoned professional who's looking to deepen their sense of truth on stage or on screen.
I find that contrast fascinating, simple and effective. Usually deep artistic mastery feels so messy, so complicated.
Yeah.
The Meisner promise is this clear path. But, okay, for anyone who's skeptical of a single method, the first question has to be, why should we trust this approach?
What's the track record?
Exactly. What's the established record of success?
Well, the record is the first thing that just jumps out in the source materials. This isn't some flash-in-the-pan technique. It has, and this is a quote, proven success for 80 years.
80 years.
That longevity is so critical, especially when you consider that Sanford Meisner himself was dedicated to this craft, to teaching it for 6 decades.
60 years just teaching. So he wasn't just passing on notes he took once.
Yeah.
He was constantly refining the whole thing.
Precisely, based on direct, practical experience in the classroom and the tangible metrics of success. They're just extraordinary.
Like what?
His students, collectively, they achieved scores of major awards, including a stunning 37 nominations for Oscars.
37. Wow.
If you connect this to the bigger picture, it means this approach produces artists who are deeply empathetic, truthful, and recognized at the highest levels.
And not just for flashy performances, right? It's for genuine, believable work.
Exactly. That level of recognition, it's powerful validation. It proves the method translates directly from the classroom to the screen, where, subtle truthfulness is everything.
So it's not just success, it's lasting cultural impact.
It is, and that legacy was intentionally protected. Meisner personally trained 20 teachers to continue his work.
So he created a lineage.
A direct lineage. And that foundational group has since mentored a second generation, ensuring the methodology stays vibrant and relevant even 20 years after he passed away.
And it's not just an American thing either. The sources make it clear this isn't geographically limited at all.
Oh, not at all. It's global. We see it being used in China, Italy, Switzerland, the Philippines, India, Chile, Mexico, Cuba.
Which suggests that whatever Meisner discovered, it touches on some kind of universal human language of behavior.
It has to.
It applies no matter the culture or the stage.
Which is exactly right. I mean, if the work is about genuine human response, it should, by definition, work everywhere.
Okay, so if the success is proven, let's move to the structure. Because when you're teaching anything complex, the structure is what determines whether a student succeeds or just burns out.
Right.
How does Meisner structure the learning process?
This is where Meisner really offers a fundamental structural difference. He believed acting should be taught like any other artistic discipline.
Meaning?
Incrementally, one step at a time. It's a building process, not a sudden leap into the deep end.
And the source material points to something really surprising about where this structure came from. It wasn't even from acting.
No, not at all. Absolutely not. The sequencing of the Meisner approach was derived directly from his training as a concert pianist.
A pianist. Okay, that's fascinating.
Yeah, think about learning the piano. You don't immediately sit down to play Art Rachmaninoff concerto.
Of course not. You'd fail miserably.
You start with scales, arpeggios, basic timing exercises. These simple, repetitive steps, they build muscle memory and fundamental skills.
So he just applied that same sequential logic to acting, which it raises a question for me, though.
Okay.
If the training is so structured and step by step, doesn't that risk making the acting mechanical or, predictable?
That's the paradox, and it's the source of the brilliance. You train the mechanical parts, the ability to focus, to respond, to really listen through these simple, repeatable steps.
And once those are locked in?
Once those fundamentals are subconscious, the actor is free to focus entirely on the artistry and the moment, rather than the technical challenge.
Just like a pianist isn't thinking about which key they're hitting during a performance.
Exactly. The Meisner actor stops thinking about the acting.
That makes perfect sense. The structured scales build the foundation so that in the performance, the skill is just automatic.
And this is in sharp contrast to what the sources suggest about other techniques. The critique is that other methods have no clear steps or direction.
They just throw you in.
Right, they quickly overwhelm the actor with advanced scenes. Imagine throwing a novice actor into an intensely dramatic 5-page scene.
They panic.
They panic, and they resort to faking emotion. They have no foundation.
So Meisner combats that intellectual panic by creating this systematic series of exercises that are really designed to build confidence.
Yes. You master the skills rather than just faking the result. The actor builds confidence by mastering each step sequentially before moving on. It respects the learning curve.
And it gives the actor concrete, actionable skills, not just esoteric theories.
Exactly.
So that structure is the how. But now let's talk about the philosophical why. What is the ultimate goal here? What is the Meisner method aiming for?
The goal really is summed up in 2 words: truthful acting.
Truthful acting.
Meisner, like Stanislavski before him, believed the best acting has to be based in truth. But Meisner's approach defined that truth differently.
How so?
Not through, say, internal recall or emotional memory, but through genuine action and belief in the moment.
So the goal isn't just looking truthful or faking a feeling really well.
No. The core concept is that students have to learn how to really do whatever they're doing on stage.
Really.
Every single exercise is designed to reinforce the actor's truthfulness by focusing on the actual physical action being performed.
Whether it's pouring coffee, waiting for a call.
Or arguing, yeah. And making that action completely real within the imaginary circumstances of the scene.
Okay, can you give us a quick example of what that imaginary circumstance looks like in practice? How do they actually establish the belief?
Sure. Let's say the scene is about waiting for a letter. In a Meisner exercise, the teacher provides the imaginary circumstances. They might say, this letter contains your job interview results, and if you don't get this job, you can't pay next month's rent.
So the stakes are incredibly high.
Very high. But the actor doesn't focus on feeling desperate. They focus on the reality of those stakes, on the physical action of waiting, maybe walking to the mailbox, maybe pacing the room.
So instead of trying to generate panic out of thin air, the actor is just doing the simple physical action of waiting while believing in these high personal stakes.
That is the absolute heart of it, and this is the key concept. Emotions are never pushed out or faked.
They just happen.
Meisner taught that if actors believe in the imaginary circumstances, the stakes, the time, the place, and they genuinely do what the scene requires within them,
then the proper emotions would naturally follow.
Exactly. Emotion is the consequence of belief in action, not the cause.
That is a critical differentiator. It takes all the pressure off. It removes the burden of having to manufacture feelings and replaces it with the manageable task of just genuinely responding to a reality you've established.
It shifts the entire burden of performance.
From the impossible, which is commanding an emotion, to the possible just doing the action.
And that focus on spontaneous, genuine response leads us directly to the most unique hallmark of the Meisner technique.
Which is?
The intense focus on the other person in the scene. I mean, if the actor is focused entirely on the truth of the situation and not their own internal state, where does their attention have to be?
Outward. It has to be. This is that radical relational shift.
Absolutely. Meisner developed exercises specifically to help the actor focus their attention on and make use of the other person in the scene.
He believed the most truthful acting happens when the actor is just responding.
From one unanticipated moment to the next, allowing the partner's behavior to completely dictate their own.
And the fundamental tool for training this, the thing everyone associates with Meisner, is what?
That's the famous repetition exercise. It's the actor's version of scales on the piano.
Right.
It starts so simply. Actors just repeat and observe truthful behavior back and forth. You're wearing a blue shirt. I'm wearing a blue shirt. You're wearing a blue shirt.
Until what?
Until they are forced out of their own heads, out of intellectual planning, and into genuine, spontaneous interaction. This exercise is the core tool that shifts the focus.
From their own plan to their partner's moment-to-moment reality.
Yes. So the repetition exercise is this highly structured, maybe even boring foundation.
That frees up the actor's focus for the complex performance later on. It teaches them to listen with their whole body.
Yes. And the source materials use such a powerful metaphor to describe this ideal state of connection.
Oh, this is the one I love.
It says the relational acting is where the actor became the feather.
And his scene partner became the wind. Just a striking image.
It really is.
But wait, if I'm the feather, doesn't that risk turning me into a passive actor, just being blown around?
Yeah.
How do I stay an active, driving participant?
It's not about passivity, it's about radical responsiveness. The feather isn't resisting the wind, it's completely in the moment with it.
So it's actively listening, observing.
And allowing the truth coming from the partner to instantly reshape your own performance, your own intention. It forces you to always be present and to discard any pre-planned reactions.
That totally reframes the definition of active performance. It's not about generating your own energy, but about channeling and responding to the energy that's being given to you.
Crucially, yes. This means that in Meisner's approach, the other person became the most important person on the stage.
The most important person.
The dynamic interaction between two people, living truthfully under imaginary circumstances, that's what drives the spontaneity and the truth that the audience sees and believes.
Okay, let's talk about the guiding philosophy of simplicity. We've established the training is highly structured, but the end result needs to feel effortless and simple.
Meisner always sought the simplest and most direct way to teach acting, and the why is important.
Why?
Because simplicity is what helps spark the actor's imagination and open the actor's heart. Simple structure allows the complex human spirit to flourish.
So complexity isn't deep. It's actually detrimental.
Absolutely. The sources say an exercise that was too complex or had too many confusing details, it shut down the imagination and closed the heart.
If you're spending all your energy just tracking instructions, you can't be in the moment.
You can't be truthful. This focus on simplicity and directness is a major difference between Meisner's method and other approaches. He just cut through all the intellectual noise.
And that clarity allows the actor's own unique personality to integrate into the framework. Which brings us to the individual approach.
Right.
How do you maintain a consistent, sequential, system-like piano scales while still honoring the individual student?
Well, that's the hallmark of a master teacher, isn't it?
Yeah.
Meisner recognized that each student had a unique path to learning the art.
So it wasn't one size fits all.
The sequential structure and the core principles, truth, repetition, relationship, they always stayed the same. But he would tailor his comments and his exercises to suit the specific needs of that student.
Addressing their particular blocks or their specific talents.
Exactly. So the foundation is rigid and consistent, which ensures competency. But the feedback is entirely personalized, which ensures artistic growth.
It's a system designed to meet the student where they are and shepherd them toward their own personal version of truthful performance.
Rather than forcing them into some rigid mold.
Okay, before we bring this deep dive to a close, there's a non-negotiable rule we have to mention.
Yes, a rule Meisner insisted on, and it applies equally to the intense emotional exploration of acting and, well, to real life.
The famous simple safety rule.
Don't physically hurt yourself or other people.
And don't break the furniture.
Precisely. It's such a grounded, practical directive. It underlines the professionalism and respect required in any acting environment. Even when you're exploring the very edges of human emotion, safety and respect remain paramount.
And it's clear his work isn't some static piece of history. The sources mentioned continuous exploration, workshops and sessions, applying the technique to different things.
Right, to music, movement, and even really complex texts like Shakespeare. The foundation he built, it just continues to inform a vast range of performance disciplines.
So what does this all mean for you? If you're looking to get a quick handle on what makes the Meisner approach so enduring, here are the key takeaways.
First, it's about establishing a solid, trustworthy foundation, a lot like the scales of a concert pianist.
Second, it prioritizes finding truth by genuinely doing an action and believing the imaginary circumstances, rather than trying to manufacture or fake an emotion.
And maybe even likely, it radically shifts the dynamic of the scene to your partner.
Transforming you from a self-focused driver into that responsive feather, guided by the wind. It is simple, it is direct, and it is overwhelmingly effective at creating genuine human moments.
And if we connect this profound idea back to the bigger picture for a second, the idea that truthful emotions follow from genuinely believing the imaginary circumstances, this raises a powerful final thought for you to consider.
Go on.
We all operate under various imaginary circumstances in our daily lives, right? Beliefs about our limits, old stories about our worth, perceptions about the world.
Sure.
So what imaginary circumstance do you currently believe in your own life that might be unintentionally generating an undesired or limiting emotional result? And what would happen if you simply changed the circumstances of that belief? What stands out to you?